Hello guys, and welcome to a new WARNO video today by me, Vulcan. In this one I have for you a 4 versus 4 on Cliff, and I'm going to be playing with the 157th Motostrelki. This is the new division that came with the Nemesis home front on the pack side. So we're going to have a good chance to show this off today, since 3 players on our team are using the 157th. On this map, a questionable decision, because the 157th doesn't deal too well with open ground, but we'll be exploring that today, as I'll just take you through my deployment. So I've got a K1 here with an MI8 TV looking for some early kills on the road. We got some BTR-40s leading with Razvedka, got BRM-1K following up. We've got a couple of Su-15s that are going to be engaging a couple of freedom fighters. The main gun of the Su-15 in front actually finishes off the freedom fighter nicely, but a missile from the freedom fighter on the way out does shoot down the Su-15. Actually really big fan of the way that the Su-15 looks. It's a pretty cool aircraft. In this case, going to take another hit on the way out from the enemy AA. But 1 for 1, not too bad. These Su-15s, they're 155 points, not too expensive. But I mean, nice to shoot down a helicopter with them though, since the main guns that they have can be pretty effective at taking out enemy helicopters. Anyway, we have a Przewodniki. Following up, we got some Motostrelki BMP coming in, the BMP-1 there. F-16, really nice strike from the F-16. Takes out both the Mi-8 TV and the K1 in one strike. Nasty stuff. Over on the left side, more Przewodniki. I've got some of these VulcanHDGams as well. So deployed pretty defensively on this sector, but obviously looking to contest this right-hand sector, as it is a 2-pointer. But going to have my hands tied as I'm going up against the Dutch, and that Leopard 2A4 is a hard target that I'm going to find very, very difficult to take care of, especially with the BMP-1 now going down. I've got my HGM on the way here, which is going to be accompanying the Malutka P. I was hoping the Malutka P might be able to do something to the 2A4, but Letha Przewodniki and the Razvedka managed to deal with the KCT Vikennas. That was nice. Here goes the Malutka. Motostrelki manages to turn in time. Su-27 flying overhead. This is the Su-27K, or the T-10K3, which is the prototype variant. Unfortunately for me, a complete waste of it, as I was planning to use that to cover the Su-25, but an Nighthawk had other plans. Anyway, Su-25 looking for the kill onto the M3A1 Bradley. Gets a hit by the enemy AA again, so that one's going to be forced out without any kills. And that's when I realised, well, I'm going to have to deal with Motostrelki with this Dutch on the right hand side here, and we've also got Sato Monster setting up on the left side with the 3rd Armoured. Now both of these divisions have a lot of heavy armour that I really can't match, so it's all about just creating a really, really sticky situation whereby if any tanks move forwards, they get caught out by things that are hidden in these tree lines. And the tree lines are actually kind of hard to see when you're zoomed out when it's at night. This night map is really, really dark. And that's, I think, going to somewhat help me in this battle, because it's going to be hard for them to identify where all of my HGMs might just be. I was hoping to get that Stadion over into this sector, but I mean, as long as he's not putting a leader in the sector, that's actually kind of a win for us, because he should be able to get his leader in there pretty easily. M1A1's Abrams CP certainly getting prepared to make a push towards Anna. But yeah, Fedor's the most important one for them, as that is the 2-pointer. It seems like on this map, the way it works is like Fedor is blue side, Boris is like 50-50, and then in the town on the left-hand side, we should get to this one first, and we have, and Grimguy's kind of locked that down. So that's worked out quite nicely for us, and WarnConehead is actually putting pressure onto Ivan, so they're doing a good job over there at least. My Malutka is keeping the Leopard 2A4 from moving into the sector, and the longer I can do that, the better. And that's also going to allow me to set up into all of these different tree lines with HGM vehicles, as well as the T-55AM here, which also has the Bastion missile, able to engage at the 2,800 meter range. So my HGM does manage to land another shot on target. Keeps moving backwards and forwards there. Now he's just waiting for his infantry to push through. But I do have the Motostrelki trying to move into position to counteract that. Also got one of these 100 mils on the way. This is a really interesting unit, the 100 mil. It's got 10 round per minute rate of fire with its one vet. And 60% accuracy. So 16 penetration, really good at taking on sort of medium tanks and light armor. But definitely going to struggle against the M1A1s unless they can get side shots. Cheetah moving up on the right hand side. Looking to maybe pick that off with the Mallorca here. But Motostrelki going to be starting their engagement with these reserve infantry. So these are the Dutch reserves. And so in terms of cohesion, they're going to lose cohesion really fast. Mallorca not quite able to side shot their Leopard 1NL, that would have been really nice. We are going to be able to get a shot on though there, it's just as soon as this Leopard 1NL gets its aim, the Mallorca goes down. But we're going to be trading, so it's an 85 point Leopard 1NL for the 50 point Mallorca P. We'll take it. So with the Leopards coming up and more of the infantry arriving, the Motostrelki are going to be pushed out of position, and my HGM squad's not long for this world. Meanwhile, on the left-hand side, Bradley is starting to build up. We've got the fire team leader there unloaded as well. Unfortunately, my Rajvedka are going to eat it, but the T-55 with its Bastion going to be able to keep those Bradleys at a distance for the time being. Now, with our presence in this tree line gone, the 2A4 is going to move into that sector, and it is going to be a +2 for our opponents. I'm trying to get the Su-25 into a position to maybe snipe some vehicles if he tries to go for a push, but no sight of him just yet. Now, on the backside, you'll notice I have brought up the 203. Well, we can barely see that at all in here. It's right there in front of me. The 203 mil, actually probably one of the best artillery pieces that has been added in the 157th. It's very, very good and can take out infantry no problem whatsoever. Does a decent amount of damage to vehicles. And it doesn't even have that much dispersion, which is crazy. Anyway, Su-25 going to try and take advantage of us seeing the M1A1 there. Not able to find a kill as it does smoke itself off. My Mallorca here getting caught out in the open. Going to have to fall that one back. And you can see that I'm just slowly but surely ceding a little bit of ground on the right hand side. And starting to kind of develop the position on the left hand side. So yeah, T-55, BRM-1, we got the 100mm AT gun over there. I am bringing up some more infantry here. I was hoping to maybe make a little bit of a push. I've got the Prizivniki, we got the Ochrana FVMF, and the HGM squads in there. We got the Kommandotola, which is the military police. Big fan of the BTR-70 with the military police trait. It's really, really handy for dealing with enemy infantry whilst providing the military police trait to your own infantry. Enemy artillery is going to come in and take out my HGM. The Su-25, yeah, no luck there. So, in a bit of a tough spot right now. And it's going to be difficult to push against all of this infantry. Especially with the Leopards in position, like the Leopard 1NLs and the Leopard 2A4. They're the toughest targets for me, and if my airstrikes can't kill them, then it's really just up to my artillery, but there's not really much point in me using artillery if I don't see anything. Especially like since I've got exceptional optics here, for example, like the BRMs are in position. They're spotting units on the left when he's pushing forwards, but I'm not able to see through all of these tree lines. This right hand side is the perfect territory for heavy tanks to dominate this division that I'm playing. We are at least going to be able to get some good engagements against this reserve infantry, so that's nice. And we are providing decent HGM fire towards these vehicles, which is forcing Sato to fall back. But the T-55 is now almost out of Bastion missiles. The 100mm hasn't found a shot on target yet. And yeah, the left side here looking pretty bad as the fire team Dragon and the fire team leader make their move. But a nice side shot from the 100mm does hit the M1A1, takes it down to 4 health, and the Bastion's going to look for the last shot there. We do get the stun. Artillery is going to finish off the 100mm. On this right hand side, the T-55 and BTR-70 supporting the infantry engagement against these reserves. The Ochrana and the Przewodniki almost making it up, but the F-16 coming over. And since we didn't have any Krugs set up just yet, he's going to get away with that one nicely. But here's the 203s. They are aiming at the infantry that have managed to push into the edge of the town. Able to take out an M2A2 with the HGM there at least. Wasn't quite able to get the Rozvedka onto the Laro in time, so the Stinger does end up unloading, but we're going to be able to kill that off with the BTR-40, so that's a nice free kill for us. But yeah, as you can see, I'm really stretched thin. That's the main reason I don't have the Krugs in at the moment, because the Krugs are a decent investment in terms of costs, so I'm going to have to, you know, kind of delay bringing all of them in. I've got the one there behind the town, but that's kind of undefended at the moment. But there goes the 203s. We'll zoom in. We'll see them as they fire. They'll light themselves up. There we go. 2 Malyutkas looking to force back the M2A2s. You do manage to do so. We got the T-55 AM1 coming up with the Bastion there as well. Mi-8 TVs in position to rocket down the enemy infantry and provide the Phalange P if any vehicles get in range. So we did manage to get a Motostrelki in there. I've got the T-55 on the way, which we're going to be sending to the left side. Now this is down a hill. So it's like these buildings on top, and then there's a little hill, and then there's a forest down here. So I'm trying to get the T-55 over to the left-hand side to stop them from kind of pushing down this road into this bottom of the town where I can't really engage them. Unfortunately for me, cannon battery pretty on point. Really, really fast. Weasel actually ends up taking out the Mi-8 TB, which is crazy because both of these AIM-9Js hit the mark there in order to do that. And then the Krug here missing both of its missiles onto the seed, which is kind of likely to happen because those have a decent amount of ECM. But yeah, losing one of the 203s is kind of sad. So I'm just going to be moving that out into the open. But in Malyutka, T-55 getting into position here. We did manage to do quite a lot of damage to the M1s, but we didn't manage to kill them, so that's pretty rough. Now, meanwhile, in the centre here, Vector's managed to take control of this sector using his 79th Guard, so that's working out quite nicely for us. Meanwhile, on the left, Grimguy's got control of this sector and is helping Warm Conehead now push the Ivan sector, so teams working well together on the left-hand side to take advantage of the position where this division works really well. But I thought this game here today was kind of interesting because it shows how to like really slow down a game against multiple opponents on like an open field with this division. And there are other divisions that suffer like this where you can't really kill the enemy like Leopards and M1A1s, but you can certainly slow them down if you set up HGMs in the right positions. And that's exactly what I've been trying to do throughout this game. So we got like the T-55s kind of spread out. We've got the Malyutka spread out across the front. Yes, they've been slowly but surely picked off, but now I'm falling back once again. You can see I'm moving the T-55 back, the BRM's moving back. My HGM team's trying to do a runner, but they'll probably get killed off. And now I'm going to bring up some more AT guns. Just got to avoid this artillery. Also going to want to try and resupply the Krug at some point because these only carry 2 missiles and then you got to reload them. So I should ideally have got a supply over here to the Krug earlier on. But more stuff on the way, like getting more infantry into the town is potentially more important than getting the AA back online because we know that he has 2 seed. So trying to use the trying to use the Krug to counter the F-16s when there's wild weasels hanging about is going to be very, very difficult. Now we're seeing the Apaches turn up. Apache is real bad news for my vehicles. You can see that I'm having to completely duck out of this tree line I feel like heavy helicopters are almost worse for this division than aircraft, because technically you have the T-10 and the Su-15 that can deal with enemy aircraft quite well. The Su-15 is like a little bit of a dice roll when it comes to enemy helicopters that have ECM. And you can see that the Su-15 failing to shoot that down. Now there is times where I've had the Su-15s reliably kill Apaches in one run over and over and over again because of those two autocannons they have, but in this case the HGM Apache going to be getting away. At least I'm able to stop it from hunting down on my T-55s and giving myself time to get some AA on the field. I think at this point I hadn't added any of the Strelas to my deck. I was almost solely reliant on the 130mm and the ZU-23-2s. So you can see we're bringing in the ZU-23-2s now in order to just spread them in the tree lines with anything that I'm using in those positions. So like T-55s, 100mm, just like supporting them with ZU-23-2s. But meanwhile, Sato has tried to push forwards cheekily with his Fireteam Dragon, and he's coming under heavy fire from my BTR-70 and the Motostrelki. But it's the leader getting in here that I'm worried about, as he does manage to full cap this position. But my Stadion is arriving. It's a really funny looking leader vehicle that's going to be hiding behind this building in order to contest this sector whilst we move the Ochrana forwards and try and finish off this infantry. So on the left here, you can see that I've got another HGM in position. It's going to be able to fire up onto the ridge if anything comes too close. And then we've also got the T-55 further back that I placed there earlier. So the Ochrana, they have 14 men. So really hoping to kind of overwhelm these smaller squads that Sato's been using. He's got the fire teams with AT-4s and fire teams with dragons. The main thing I need to kill is the fire team leader, so we're trying to focus that down to fully capture back the sector. But now we've got engineers on the way, supported by those M2A2 Bradleys. The M2A2 Bradleys were the things that dropped off the fire teams, most likely. But meanwhile, Abrams are going to be pushing on the flank. My 130mm, that is my anti-air, that is coming under fire from those Abrams. This T-55 is able to smoke itself off at least and get out of there because the M3A1 Bradley was getting its toe on target. But now we're looking to get the Su-25s to work, so two M1A1s out in the open against an Su-25. Will we get a kill? Let's find out. No, we won't, as the enemy AA absolutely spanks us. Triple Eagle comes out from Sato. Smoke goes off just in time. I'm able to kill one M2A2 Bradley, but the chaparrals are going to hit my Su-25 really hard. And that is no M1A1 kills. Krug's having to worry about the wild weasels. I was really hoping that the Krug would defy RNG and just kill those, but alas. The engineers have managed to get into the sector here. On the right-hand side, we've got a little bit of a setup to defend in case Commissar tries to come through, but kind of expecting Commissar to help attack this sector any moment, or maybe head over to the mid or somewhere else where he can make good use out of his leopards. HGMs both failing to hit the M2A2, and this is the problem that I had with this division, is it really felt like I'm reliant on good RNG in order to get the kills onto substantial targets, like any of the heavy tanks and stuff, but it just wasn't happening this time around. At least these Ochrana, they have Resolute trait, so they're doing pretty well against the engineers at the moment, and we got my my B4 203 providing some fire support, so that's going to be lowering the cohesion quite substantially of all of these infantry squads. Visivniki are arriving to join the Ochrana in engaging the fire teams and engineers, but you see, the engineers really low on cohesion, the Ochrana absolutely fine because of the Resolute trait. Brezivniki just able to freely provide fire support. That's worked out quite nicely. I'm not sure quite what happened. I think on the left-hand side, Grim Guy here and Warm Conehead managed to push out MiG entirely from the city, so it's going to be throwing in the towel there. But this side is still precarious for me, and in the center, Vector still being challenged over that sector. The Okhrana moving up, going to be able to finish off the engineers that were low. So that's working out nicely. We got some military police in here as well, which is going to stack with the Resolute trait in order to make our troops really, really good against enemy infantry. That's also going to remove the reservist trait from the Prismniki, so they're going to be really, really good now as well. And we're able to basically push all of that infantry out of there and re-secure the sector. So that's really, really good. Now we've got the train of IS-2s arriving, and it's only a matter of time until we're able to just completely secure this once again. So the one thing that IS-2s are really good for is just enemy infantry, like infantry support against enemy infantry. With the guns firing there, the Prismniki, they're cleaning house. That's worked out really nicely. F-16 coming in with the bombing strike is going to hit the two Prismniki and my military police. Really, really strong bombing strike once again. Krug not able to hit the mark. Cluster tries to come in for the IS-2. I was fast moving them down the road there to avoid that. Did end up losing one of them. I think maybe only one died. Actually, no, 3 of them died. Never mind. They're all burning up. That's rough. Big engagement now as the Su-15 and Warm Conehead playing with fire against the F-15 Eagles of Sato. These are the ones with the AMRAAMs. You're not getting away from those. There's also a Tornado F3 back there. Now my T-10, it comes in like an absolute Chad. Fires all of its missiles without taking a single shot towards it, other than from the AA. It fails to shoot down a F-15. It was really, really sad. I was really hoping for the hero play there, because this T-10 can fire off like 3 missiles all at once, basically, if it gets close enough. And it's really, really effective at taking on enemy aircraft 1v1, but like in that situation, there was a great chance for me to take down even 2 Eagles and not even be shot back at. That would have been insane. Not to be, as RNG does not fall in my favor once again. The Eagles, of course, have decent ECM, so it does lower the chance of the shots from hitting. The T-55's out in the open here, engaging the Abrams as he tries to make ground around the right side of the town. Now this is somewhat the right thing for Sato to be doing. He needs to somewhat get an envelopment around the town, and then he can push in infantry and support it with all of his fire support. But as long as I can hold him back at range with these HGMs, I'm in a good spot. Conehead's going to be coming in with the Su-25 with the rockets there. A little bit ambitious, as he is going to dive straight into the enemy chaparrals. But he is going to be able to take out the Apache HGM, so that works out nicely for us. IS-2's here, they're currently just chilling out, waiting to kind of counter push. I can't move my IS-2Ms out in the open against M1A1s, it's just not going to end well at all. So we've kind of got to wait for Sato to push in here, then use the IS-2s at close range in order to push them out again. Again, still hadn't reloaded this Krug on the left-hand side. We definitely should have done that sooner, but the way that the reinforcements are coming in on this right-hand side, you saw I had a Ural that was kind of trying to drive over here that died on this road. It's just because the sort of reinforcing route kind of forces all of the stuff up here towards the town and then turns left, like the IS-2s did when they came in. Anyway, we're going to be investing in now the Bereg. The Bereg is another one of the new units that's been added to this division. You can see this coming in alongside the 203 mils of Warm Conehead here. So we're going to get to see both of those. But the Berets, pretty good when you have them closer up. So you like really make your dispersion as small as possible, use corrected shot, and you're all good. On the left hand side, or like in the mid here, I did bring in both of my Su-25s with clusters to try and do some decent damage. I managed to take out, I think, a tank here and a tank here, and then also shot down the Apache, so I was pretty happy with the strike, even though those got shot down, and that should allow Vector to continue to contest the sector in the middle of the map. Commissar is now coming in with a lot of infantry. These are all his reservists charging towards the town. So the next push is on its way. Sato using his recon with his M1A1s to get into position to support this push. The M2A2s opening up on the Prizivniki. Su-25 looking for kills onto the M1A1s. Smoke put out just in time. That will at least kind of force them to fall back potentially for a little bit, but Sato, with the Su-25 falling back, just going to keep going actually. Here come the Dutch reservists. There's a lot of them on their way to push me out of this town. Artillery coming in from Conehead's 203s. He's going to be hitting this road really nicely. Those trucks getting absolutely slammed. You can just see the power of the 203 there as it annihilates those infantry squads out in the open. Conehead's also going to be supporting me with his Mi-8 TVs, which is very handy, as those phalangers will keep the M1A1s at bay. My Beregs were also firing into this push. So we're looking to try and take out as many of those as possible before they get dug into buildings. My own HGM's arriving to assist. I did manage to take out the fire team leader amongst all of those other units, and that's going to stop him from capturing this. Just waiting for the right time to move the IS-2s up, and it's basically going to be when these M1A1s decide to fall back. Until that point, we are still kind of waiting here. Because the IS-2s, they're going to be able to deal with the Bradleys okay. But it's the Abrams that I'm worried about. On this side, Commissar trying to push up, kind of bumps into my defences. The HGM's just about holding the line there for me. Beregs continuing to fire into these buildings. T-55 failing multiple shots onto the Bradley there. Not good. Anyway, time for the IS-2s to move in. And kind of clean out this infantry. My infantry has held really, really well. The Ochrana VMF, absolutely fine. The Motostrelki, still full strength. All of this infantry getting absolutely wiped by artillery. My 203 continuing to fire away, the Beregs continuing to fire the whole time. Now I'm going to be bringing up some BS3s. Now BS3s are technically in the artillery tab, but they do have an AP shell, so I was hoping to make good use of that. IS-2 firing away. They have a quite low rate of fire. But able to get shots here towards the Bradley. It's like 2-shot kill at this range for the IS-2. Bradley's going to smoke themselves off and do a runner. Now the TOW2s are coming in abundance. As multiple Bradleys show up. Look how many Bradleys that is. Take out the leader, another leader goes down. I think if Sato kind of spread out his Bradleys here, just did like the right-click drag in order to make them in a nice line, he would have had a much better chance of making this work. But at the moment what's happening is, because they're all grouped up, the artillery is hitting pretty hard. Apache's coming forwards, getting pushed off by the ZG-23. M1A1 leader gets taken out by my HGM, so I am causing them a lot of losses as they continue to push up here, and also Coneheads helping out a lot in the defense. So Prisvniki arriving with the Sapperly. I'm going to have to unload them early before they get ripped to shreds by the auto cannons in their vehicles. Better to have them out of the vehicles than in the vehicles, because otherwise these Urals, they're just going to get killed so fast. Now, I was putting them on the sell order, but you can see how they're trying to get back to the spawn there. Going to end up just handing them to the enemy. All of this infantry is trying to get into a building at least so they have cover, but no luck so far. HGM still hitting his tanks, which is good. BS3 trying to act as an AT gun to kill the Bradleys, and you can hear that kind of hitting the mark there slightly. Beregs getting ready to push. Prisvniki getting the RPG-2 on target. With those blowing up, all of these Bradleys, they're very, very close together. And this is going to be an absolute massacre as the Bradleys fall back through the Bereg rounds. Because they're so long cohesion, they start routing and just end up falling back into those shots. Now they're still looking pretty dire at the moment, but Sato having those close together does allow the Prisvniki to slowly but surely finish them off. BS3 is providing decent HE fire on target. We've got the 2A3 firing away. The Beregs are constantly firing, they're almost out of ammo. HGMs are still firing from Coneheads. T55s, keeping them topped up by the chain from the M6 to the Euro here. The Apache HGM still a little bit of a problem. Not really much way for me to take that out. The ZG-23-2 is my best option, because the Krug can't even fire at helicopters, it can only fire at aircraft. So it's not like I can shift that forwards and use it on the Apache. But 100mm have been unloaded, and we're looking to finish off the Bradley. Got a T-55 leader here as well. Crash trucks driving into the enemy as well. Only trouble with doing that is you're not getting them refunded. Doesn't matter so much in this division because everything you buy is so cheap, but yeah, the 100mm is starting to do a decent amount of damage to the enemy infantry there. You can see their rate of fire. Like 11 round per minute rate of fire with the 2-vet, thanks to the T-55. This T-55 tanking a lot of dragons to the face. But those two squads down just in time for the Motostrelki to arrive. And we're going to hold the line at these tree lines. Now we just got to try and push back a little bit. And Conehead's on the way with a lot of reserves coming in with those BTR 152Ks. Leopard 1 and out. I have managed to push through on the right hand side here. There's a crashed aircraft. The MP1s took care of that for me. Yeah, here come the reserves once they all unload. That should be the dead Bradleys. He's just going to clean this out so fast because all of these fire teams already low on men. But nasty, nasty bombing strike from Commissar. The F-16 getting away with that one until the Krug shoots it down. T-10 goes down as well from a teammate. Ultimately, didn't matter that the reserves got taken out because we've managed to clean them out of here, which is crazy. T-55 going to be looking to capture back the sector, but the Apache kind of hovering on the far side is making things difficult. T-10's going to come in, just try and shoot that down, misses the R-73, doesn't get its guns on target and dies. So I'm not even able to get the T-55 into position. But BMPs are arriving. We've got an extra IS-2 there waiting to get involved. Ural driving back to the Feld depot that I brought in at the start. A BTR's moved through, and we've basically found that there is nothing there. F-15 though going to get shot down by the Krug. We did manage to get one on target. MiG-29 trying to get a shot on, not quite. Conehead beat me to it, capturing the sector. My Stadion a little bit late, but the Motostrelki in there, and well, there you go. We managed to fully cap that back for the +4 for the team. It was a crazy engagement. This town is just full of wrecks. Look at it. Look at that. It's just so many. I'll look at it from this direction because you can see them much better due to the reflection. Just so many Bradleys destroyed there. Alright, BMP-1's coming up with their Motostrelki to secure that. Beregs are looking to take out any 8 gems units that are hiding about the place, and ultimately I should have maybe been trying to counter battery some of the AA as well. Because AA is one of those things that people are pretty lazy in moving quite often. Or Krug trading with the Weasel. The fact that Krug hit the shot is crazy. Because the Krug, it has like 40% accuracy and then there's like 40% ECM. So you're ending up doing like 30% accuracy, and so hitting these shots is kind of crazy. It'd be more like, what, 25% accuracy or something like that. 11-2A4 here. In a very bold, down in the tree line like that. I really wish I had something to kill it. I mean, Leopard could go down to the Su-25. The issue I'm having is just there's so many aircraft flying around from the enemies, and they've still got loads of AA, but it doesn't matter too much. I mean, the BMP-1s are actually making a bit of a counter push right now. The Motostrelki have taken full control of the town. Rallies from Conehead are helping us out as the F-16 and the Freedom Fighter flies overhead. Mi-8's on the background here, almost a target. F-16 bombs my Beregs. It's like my Krug going down here, and this one's still not being resupplied. Just not stopping any of these aircraft, but getting to the point now where there's only like 30 seconds left, so it doesn't really matter anymore, as we are just about securing the victory. AI has continued to push in on the left hand side, but they've held that strong. One thing I will say is the 157th can dig in quite nicely because it just has so many HGMs that can spread all over the place. It has like AT guns that can spread all over the place. And I think if you take like the proper like T-55 combination, then you can get a lot of work done. There it is, Cliff at night with the 157th, 5,655 kills, 7,550 losses. And yeah, I wanted to share this game, like, not because it was particularly good on my part, but mainly because, you know, it kind of shows the strengths and weaknesses of this division quite well. Like, the team did really well kind of pushing through the town. It's a really good position for those divisions to be in. But in the open, obviously, you're going to struggle, particularly against 2 armoured divisions, which did do pretty well. Commissar with the 7,180 kills, the 3,750 losses, best KD on his team. Maybe could have been a bit more aggressive, you know, with Sato into the town earlier on, but ultimately did make that double push, which ended up kind of being pushed back out again. The Bereg, great job killing a lot of those M2A2s, catching out some fire team as well. Krug, I mean, 3 kills, you can't complain. F-16, Eagle, Wild Weasel. So that's not too bad. The other one should have been reloaded throughout the game. It would have helped me out massively. but it was just one of those things that you just don't really notice while you're playing, or at least you try and send like a supply over there, and as I showed you guys, it gets caught out midway and then it never arrives, and you just kind of assume that it has, and it hasn't. But yeah, there's the Su-25 strike I was talking about. Took out an Abrams, killed an Apache afterwards. That was nice. The other one didn't do so well. It didn't actually secure a kill, so not the most ideal airstrike. But Su-25s are always going to be a little bit temperamental, and they're kind of cheap though, so it's not too bad. But yeah, the Leopard 2A4, not much I could have dealt with that throughout the entire game. The M1A1's getting loads of kills against us. The M2A2s, I think, would have done a lot better if they were spread out. You know, if he'd kind of like spread out and pushed across the town, rather than having them all together, making it easier for us to clean them up. That would have been good. That F-16 was doing a good job with its bombs. The F-16 cluster did okay. Rough battle for the 157th, but we did come out on top. Thanks to the guys in the town. Great job. That's all from me though. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.